the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Jason Goes to Hell, the so-called Final Friday, released in 1993.
Friday 8 caused Paramount to give up on Jason, and they sold the Jason rights to New Line Cinema, but not the Friday the 13th name. That's why the New Line Cinema films are kind of their own semi-separate Jason series. This change in ownership lured back Friday's creator Sean S. Cunningham after more than a decade away from the property. Cunningham came back to produce Freddy vs. Jason, but since Wes Craven had just announced his plans to make New Nightmare, New Line told him to cool his jets. Jason Goes to Hell was made in the meantime to keep the character fresh in people's minds. Cunningham hired Adam Marcus to direct, a 23-year-old recent NYU grad who had never made a feature before.
So why'd he hire him?
Well, Marcus had written another script Cunningham was able to sell to Disney, but perhaps more importantly, he was childhood friends with Sean's son Noel. Marcus had known Cunningham since he was a child and considered him a surrogate dad.
I watched a lot of interviews with Adam Marcus during my research, and he's definitely an energetic cinema fan who meant well making this movie.
I like his enthusiasm and his intentions, but I think they were incorporated into a bad screenplay. It was Marcus's idea for Jason to possess different bodies throughout the film, and if A New Beginning taught us anything, it's that fans love when Jason's not the killer. But Marcus intentionally made a movie different from all the Friday films before it. He added supernatural elements and Jason mythology that he hoped would retcon some of the franchise's inconsistencies. I think most people would say they actually just complicated things, and that they don't make a lot of sense. Then again, Marcus points out that Jason was a zombie who used to be a dead swampy boy.
We didn't make any sense? Have you watched the other films?
I appreciate that he tried something different, and the movie isn't as boring as some of the other installments. Plus, it's got cool effects work, and I love a bunch of the side characters. But none of that makes up for the movie's utterly incoherent structure. This thing started with an oversized script and went through tons of recuts and reshoots. In the end, it resulted in a film that feels downright janky sometimes. The movie is slightly better if you watch the unrated version, but I've decided to use the theatrical cut when it comes to the kills and their timing. Theatrical versions have become the standard for kill counts, and I want to keep things on an even playing field. The unrated version doesn't add any depth or clarity, just a bunch more nudity and amazing gore. Seriously, most kills are way better in it, so seek it out if you like good practical effects. As for this video, even the theatrical version's got plenty that YouTube's not gonna like.
It's gonna be a real joy to count.
Will be slightly covered thanks to today's sponsor, RECOUNT earbuds. RECOUNTs are essential to the Dead Meat household, especially right now during our busiest time of the year. RECOUNT's premium sound quality helps us block out the bad vibes and focus on the good. We use them to listen to relaxing soundscapes in comfort thanks to their optimized gel tips. The new everyday earbuds have an improved feel that fit and adjust perfectly to my ear holes. And using them is so simple thanks to their reliable Bluetooth pairing and 32 hours of playback capability with their included charging case. They also work for phone calls, so I don't even need to take them out when it's time to switch modes. You know, getting back to business! RECOUNT start at half the price of other premium audio brands and have a 45-day happiness guarantee. You can get 15% off your order if you go to buyraycon.com/deadmeat today. That's buyraycon.com/deadmeat for 15% off your Raycon order today. In a movie that many consider the worst of the franchise, will there be any kills worth counting? Let's find out and get to them.
The movie begins with two credits, a new one and an old one. We're back at Crystal Lake, wouldn't you gosh darn know it, at a cabin made out of Lincoln logs. There, we have a lady dressed like a character from Hey Arnold, but not for long, cause it's time to get naked. And naked lady flesh is a surefire way to bring Jason Voorhees around. Gotta keep them clothes on at Crystal Lake, lady, or else you get the J-Man. She runs away in the world's most secure bath towel, Jason lumbering after her, wispy hairs billowing in the wind. Writer-director Adam Marcus wanted this opening to be as trope-filled as possible to pull the rug out from the audience, cause turns out that naked lady body was a trap. Jason's been lured into the middle of a federal firing squad, which makes sense. This dude has killed a lot of people by now. The number of shooters borders on parody, as does Jason's silly grunting, which Marcus overdubbed himself. Yes, J-Man made noises in part 3, and in the final chapter. But he's never sounded like this before. Since this loud mofo is hashtag not their Jason, the troops throw a grenade and blow the big man up with an explosion. And yeah, weird magic will kind of bring him back to life later, but this physical form of his has been destroyed, so on to the count he goes. Does that make sense to you?
I don't think so.
Well, I do, Woodsy Cowboy, and it's my show.
The Microsoft Word Art opening credits come at us with bursts of MIDI. Interspersed is a coroner dictating his analysis of Jason's body.
In my professional opinion, this guy's deader than shit. Strike that last comment from the record.
Jason's heart, covered in black blood, begins to beat, and Phil the coroner can't seem to stop it, not even when he uses the force. The power of heart compels him to, start eating it. This thing was made of gelatin and filled with grape jelly, but man, it looks a lot grosser than that. I mean, I know there's the trope of horror coroners always eating, but not like this, Phil. Not like this. Look, dude, it's giving you gas already. And, souls? What are those, souls flying into you? One soul? This is bad. His assistant walks in, played by Dean Lorre, who co-wrote this screenplay with Adam Marcus. Lorre also co-wrote Major Pain, okay, and co-created that Harley Quinn show that looks funny and Venture Bros-esque. For this small role, Lorre wrote himself some juicy Jason-hating dialogue.
Suck this! Suck it.
With the J-Man's spirit inside of Phil the coroner, he says he will not suck it. Instead, he sticks a probe into the back of this guy's neck. God, I love his face coming out of that metal grate. Beautiful. Not Jason here's more Jason hating from Kane Hodder, who's Jason, but who's not Jason right now. He's also not Jason. He's just a mean security guard.
He wasn't nothing but a big old pussy anyway.
That gets Kane and his fellow security guard killed, and their dead, bloody bodies are shown on the news? What? Also, how did the news get footage of these two guys like this? When and why would these have been recorded? In Crystal Lake, Jason's death is celebrated and commercialized at a local diner full of local characters. Marcus wanted non-teenage characters living normal lives interrupted by Jason, and to make them likable enough that you'd root for them to succeed, not just die.
I think he and his cast succeeded there.
Waitress Diana, in her finest picnic blanket attire, gets propositioned by a man in black who says Jason's not fully dead yet.
I'm gonna kill Jason Voorhees. I need you to help me.
This is bounty hunter Creighton Duke, a highlight of the film, even though he's got a weird word association thing going on with Jason.
Well, that makes me think of a little girl in a pink dress, sticking a hot dog through a donut.
Sir?
Stephen Williams is great as Creighton Duke, and said he'd only do the role if he could dress like a cowboy. Dude's a prolific character actor too, from when he was a cop in the Blues Brothers to being Mike's grandpa in It. His character is an exposition machine, telling us all the new Jason facts that are suddenly canon, like how Jason's spirit can inhabit other bodies, and how this Diana chick is Jason's half-sister.
We don't learn that yet, but trust me, it's easier if you know it now.
I've seen some places say Jason and Diana share Elias as a father, that unmet character who was almost included in the end of Jason Lives, but Marcus indicates they share Pamela as their mother.
Pamela Voorhees had her daughter out of wedlock, and Jason became sort of the jewel of her eye. She fixated on this boy and sent her daughter up for adoption.
Diana's daughter is Jessica, who we don't meet for another 15 minutes, but I'm talking about her now just so you don't get confused. Jessica has a new baby named Stephanie, whose dad is Jessica's ex-boyfriend Steven, and we meet Steven now in the diner when Diana mentions the as-of-yet unmet Jessica.
There's something you don't know about Jessica.
This movie sucks at introducing its characters, but to Adam Marcus's credit, there are deleted scenes that do a better job, including one with a pretty cool long one-take in the diner. But Marcus's original cut was unreasonably over 2 hours long, and as it got cut down, things started to make less sense.
A stronger screenplay to begin with probably would have helped.
And stronger direction might have avoided whatever Steven's doing here. He's just making random noises, and for so long too. This shot's like half a junkie shooting up drugs in an alley. Steven's played by John LeMay, who starred in the first 2 seasons of the Friday the 13th TV series. He's on his way to Diana's when he picks up a trio of horny hitchhikers eager to finally camp safely at Crystal Lake.
Well, now that Jason's dead,
We're thinking about smoking some dope, having a little premarital sex, and not worry about getting slaughtered.
After he drops them off, they get right to it, with Luke stripping down to give this series a rare taste of man-ass.
I'm gonna make the first one of these where there's as many naked men as there are naked women. Let's even the score. Something for the ladies. woods.
As the couple hops inside the tent of penetration, third wheel Alexis goes for a wee in the woods. Still Jason appears and slashes her to death with a scalpel. We see her body a little bit later, standing against a tree. Meanwhile, Deborah and Luke get busy in a scene that had to have been awkward to shoot. Actors Michael B. Silver and Michelle Clooney had been dating and recently broke up, and now they had to do a sexy scene with both of them completely naked. I mean, this sex scene is outrageous, especially in the director's cut. Phil Jason cuts it short by cutting into Deborah with a fence post and splitting her in half vertically. Its version in the director's cut is one of the all-time greatest kills I've ever seen. Luke screams at the sight before being killed off screen. For that shot of his face, they sprayed fake blood at him with a fire extinguisher. This whole camping scene was added after a test screening. New Line told Marcus the movie needed to feel more like a Friday the 13th, so he reluctantly added some horny teens dying, but refused to imply that sex automatically equals death.
I will say, unsafe sex equals death.
That's why he included the couple disregarding the condom, and why Jason steps on an unused one before he kills them.
I guess Leppy Boy was right.
Always wear a prophylactic.
Phil Jason's having a great time killing, but he's got bigger plans for this cop deputy Josh. First though, he's got to get rid of Edna, this married chick who's having an affair with Josh. Phil Jason kills Edna by slamming her head/a pillow in the car door. Then Phil Jason straps Deputy Josh down on a table in the newly existing Voorhees family home. So new to the series, they didn't even spell the name right outside. Phil Jason's shaving Josh in a way that's kinda weird and kinda sexy. Marcus intentionally made this scene homoerotic to challenge his audience. It's also why he included the man-ass earlier.
I think horror movies, more than any other genre, need to be inclusive of everyone. Race, creed, color, sexual orientation, it all has to come from us.
I'll count Coroner Phil as dead after he sucks face and transfers his soul to Josh off screen. With the whole dumb possession thing, there's no perfect time to count a person as dead.
But doing it when Jason's done with their bodies makes things easiest for me, so just let me have that, okay?
Marcus says he did the body swapping thing because of restrictions imposed by Sean Cunningham.
If you can get the hockey mask out of the movie, I'll let you write and direct it.
It's a claim he's repeated often,
Want that damn hockey mask out of the movie.
even though Cunningham denies having ever said that. In any case, the lack of real-life Jason is an issue for many fans, and was an issue for Kane Hodder as well. By now, he was the rock star Jason actor, and he felt very protective of the character. He even tried to get the possessed actors to behave more like they were Jason. Some tried, but others wanted to do their own thing, and director Marcus just kind of let them. Josh Jason goes over to Diana's place, and after she sees who he really is, she takes out a handgun and shoots Josh Jason in the head with it. Damn, Diana, you ain't fucking around. But of course, Josh Jason recovers and tries to slip Diana the old mouth slug. Oh man, what the fuck? Steven gets to her place and leaps to the rescue like the unassuming badass he is. Though he can't stop Josh Jason from throwing a knife sharpener into Diana's back, he is able to stick the attacker with a fire poker and toss him out the window. Then he checks to see if that dude from Happy Gilmore is down there shaking his head. Diana dies in Steven's arms while telling him to watch out for her daughter Jessica. Then Diana's boyfriend, Sheriff Ed Landis, shows up. Since Josh's body pulled a Mikey My and said goodbye-bye, Steven's in a heap of trouble. He's put in a jail cell by his buddy Officer Randy, who's played in a real weird way, like Deputy Dewey levels of weird. Creighton Duke happens to be in the neighboring cell, and when he starts talking Jason, Steven's all ears. Or rather, all fingers, since for some inexplicable reason, Duke says he'll only talk to Steven if he lets him break his fingers. I mean, the actors sell this bit as best they can, but it makes no fucking sense, just like a lot of this movie. Duke tells Steven more new Jason rules.
In a Voorhees was he born, through a Voorhees may he be reborn. And only by the hands of a Voorhees will he die.
It's in this scene we learn that Diana was Jason's half-sister, and with her dead, the only other Voorheeses are Jessica and widow baby Stephanie. That means Jason needs one of their bodies to be reborn completely. The ones he's using now are temporary and will break down. The only way to stop him for good is for a Voorhees to destroy his heart. Knowing he has to convince his ex-girlfriend to go kill Jason Voorhees, Steven uses his get-out-of-jail-free card, which looks an awful lot like a stolen cop's gun. His ex Jessica, meanwhile, has arrived back in town with her skeezy new boyfriend Robert Campbell. He's a news anchor. While she deals with the police, baby Stephanie is cared for by Vicky, a waitress at the diner Diana worked at. They were friends. The diner is owned by Joey B and staffed by her family, husband Shelby and son Ward. She's strict about her establishment.
What the fuck is that?
It's Jessica's baby.
Get it the fuck out. This is a restaurant, not a fucking nursery.
I love Joey and Shelby. Joey's played by Rusty Schwimmer, who was in Candyman as a cop and The Belko Experiment as a sweet secretary. Shelby is played by Leslie Jordan, a delightful diminutive actor from Tennessee. He's in lots of stuff, including American Horror Story. Originally, Joey B was written as the man in the relationship, but Marcus swapped the roles when he cast these two wonderful actors. Schwimmer improvised a lot of her dialogue, something Marcus encouraged on his congenial set.
Sounds like he knew he was young and inexperienced, so he was open to everyone's suggestions.
Most of his actors called him generous. There were some disputes between Marcus and Jessica's actor Carrie Keegan over on-screen nudity and an incident where Keegan sprained her neck.
The animosity was so severe, Sean Cunningham had to direct a few scenes with Keegan, but she and Marcus both seemed to chalk up the arguments to youth and miscommunication.
Steven sneaks into the back of the diner to get his first ever look at his baby daughter. Then it's off to the Voorhees house, because if Michael and Freddy can have houses, then Jason should too. And honestly, it's not a bad house. The interior could use a little work, but check out what's inside. It's the Necrofucking-Nomicon! Calm down though, this ain't a Secret Evil Dead movie, as much as Adam Marcus would have liked it to be.
I wanted to make Evil Dead.
This is the actual Necronomicon prop, by the way. Sam Raimi lent it to Marcus when he visited the set of Army of Darkness. Marcus wanted to suggest Pamela Voorhees use the Necronomicon to bring her dead Swampy Boy back from the dead. That would make Jason a deadite, but like, come on, that's not canon, is it?
No, it is canon. It's in Friday the 13th. Sorry, I made one of those movies. It's canon. Deal with it.
Oh, okay.
Steven falls through the closet floor as Robert Campbell enters the house. That's Jessica's new boyfriend, in case you forgot. You probably did, since this movie sucks at introducing characters. Steven learns that Robert's using Jessica for a story about the Voorheeses, and turns out this dude will do a lot to make his story sensational.
Last night, I stole Diana's body and I hid it here in the closet. And then I went home and fucked her daughter.
Gross. Diana's body ends up falling on Steven and sliding through the floor into the house's crawl space. While that's happening, Josh Jason enters and attacks Robert Campbell. He manages to slide a slimy soul slug down his throat, successfully transferring Jason into the newscaster's body. That means Deputy Josh's body is done, and Jason's moved on to being Robert Jason. I'll count Deputy Josh as dead now, since his physical form just fucking melts away. I love this disgusting scene of exquisite body horror, and it's actually one that still has amazing shots, even in the theatrical version. That jaw! God, I love this Hellraiser looking shit. This movie's impressive effects were done by K&B, the company founded by three makeup legends, Robert Kurtzman, Greg Nicotero, and Howard Berger.
They were excited to do Jason Goes to Hell since they had already worked on every other major horror franchise,
between Evil Dead 2, Nightmare 5, Halloween 5, and Texas Chainsaw 3. Adam Marcus told them to go nuts with the gore. He knew the MPAA would force them to cut most of it, but planned ahead to release an unrated version on home video. Jessica is having herself a soppy shower cry when her lights go out. It's Robert Jason. As he goes to slug her down so he can be reborn, Steven shows up to save and subsequently kidnap Jessica. He carries her here because actor Carrie Keegan had just broken her toe by dropping a flashlight on it. On his way out, Steven runs over the man who looks like Jessica's boyfriend, which will surely win her over to his side. Oh, wait, no it doesn't. Though he tries to explain, Jessica wisely kicks his ass out of the car. I mean, sure, she might be wrong here, but like 99% of the time, this was the right move to make. She goes to the police and they send dipshit Randy to pick up Steven. They have a kind of fun, kind of friendly boy fight together that ultimately ends in a stalemate.
I got a gun. Fuck that. I got a gun.
It also gives Randy another chance to act fucking weird.
You totally wrecked Jessica.
Before Randy's weird ass can take Steven into the police station, Robert Jason gets there, ready to kick down some doors and ass. He attacks a cop while Marcus pays homage to Brian De Palma and kills this officer Ryan with a simple head bash. Robert Jason knocks out Sheriff Landis and pursues Jessica to slip her the slug, but Steven appears with some ups and another stolen cop gun to put Robert Jason down with a couple of rounds. Steven and Jessica get out of there, and before Robert Jason follows, he scores a couple more kills by banging these two cops' heads together. These dudes are Mark Thompson and Brian Phelps, famous LA radio DJs who got these cameos when one of them asked for a part on air.
So, just putting it out there, you can cast me in your movie, I won't mind.
Also in a cameo here is director Adam Marcus. He plays a cop whom Duke clotheslines in order to get out of his cell. Jessica and Steven get to Joey's diner, where she's all of a sudden super pro baby.
Nobody's gonna touch that fucking ray of sunshine.
She gives Ward a gun and tells him to go get help, but I don't think Robert Jason's the kind of help she meant, dude. He kills kills Ward by grabbing him and seriously breaking his arm. Holy shit. Then he tosses him against the diner door. Robert Jason enters the diner for an extended slow motion shootout. It's Marcus paying tribute to things like Terminator and Peckinpah films, but it goes on for way too long and has too many bad sounding overdubbed grunts. Since bullets don't stop the RJ man, he easily stomps up to Shelby and kills him by sticking his head in a deep fryer. Aw, then he tosses the body aside. Talk about Southern fried. Robert Jason also kills Joey by bashing her mouth in with his elbow. That effect looks weird, right? Looks weird to me. Vicky, the unsung hero of this film, is unfortunately the next one to go. She sticks a pipe or something into Robert Jason's chest, but then he grabs her and pulls her close to him to impale her through the midsection. Then, it's nap time. Sure, okay. Jessica finds a note where her baby Stephanie used to be. She follows its instructions and heads off for the Voorhees house by herself. Steven follows in his own time, after eyeing a machete, and after both of them are gone, a police officer enters the diner. The first-person view reveals a diner patron's body on the floor. In the director's cut, you can see him accidentally getting shot by Vicky, but in this cut, I waited until now to count it. Now is also when I'll count Robert Campbell as dead, since he jumps out to transfer his soul into the cam op's body. Jessica gets to the Voorhees house and finds Creighton Duke holding her baby. Not sure you want this guy holding your kid.
A little girl in a pink dress, sticking a hot dog through a donut.
Yeah, like, remember that shit? He tells Jessica only she has the power to defeat Jason. Just check it out, girl. When you grab this knife, it becomes a Kandarian dagger-looking thing. Ooh!
Only through a Voorhees can he be reborn, and only a Voorhees can kill him. With that.
Yep, now this Power Ranger dagger is part of the Jason mythos. Duke falls through the floor because damn, no one in this house be paying their floor bills. With a pipe through his thigh, Duke yells for Diana to kill anyone who walks through the door. They might be Jason. Sup, Sheriff Landis? Hey dude, you Jason?
I thought you were dead.
You were wrong.
Sounding pretty sus, dude.
Get the hell away from her, Ed!
Oh, Officer Randy, sup, man? You Jason, bro? I don't know, that dude's always acting kind of weird. Sheriff Landis, who is not Jason, runs into Jessica's knife, but he had it coming. He had it coming all along. Then Randy is revealed to be the one who's full of Jason, even though we just saw him talk.
Get the hell away from her, Ed!
Yep, that was Jason. Now he's trying to spit a slug into this baby's mouth, great, but thankfully Steven comes in and stops him by hacking his head off with a machete. Then, Jason's soul or whatever slithers out of his neck. I never thought we'd see Jason's spirit manifested as an alien kind of lizard thing, but here we are, folks, possibly a new peak weirdness in the series. And no cheeky reference to Creepshow is gonna make up for it either. Not when you've got Jason Lizard going up dead ladies' skirts. Diana's actor Aaron Gray didn't film that shot and was not happy when she saw it at the premiere.
I just thought it was inappropriate. It was not something that I would have agreed to. I actually felt violated.
Duke reveals one final last-minute rule. Jason can be reborn through a Voorhees body, even if they're dead. Since Diana's body was downstairs, guess who's home? It's Jason, finally looking like himself again. Or at least like himself in this movie. K&B designed this much more lumpy Jason, inspired by Elephant Man, where his skin has grown over the edges of his mask. Looks cool, but it was hell for Kane Hodder to wear. Previously, he could remove the mask between takes. With this makeup, he was stuck with his face covered all the time. Duke tries to stop Jason with a pair of handcuffs, but the J-Man overpowers him with a mighty bear hug. Though it cracks his back and I believe kills him, I mean, look at this. I won't count it because Adam Marcus recently said the character survived. I think that's kinda dumb, and I doubt the Duke spin-off series will ever really happen, but honestly, I don't want to deal with comments saying I was wrong, so there. This guy's alive, apparently. Whatever. Since the Jason killing dagger just fell into the cellar, Steven buys some time by tackling J-Man out the window. The two of them fight, and Steven surprisingly holds his own, probably because this character was first written to be Tommy Jarvis. Rights to Tommy were not sold to New Line by Paramount, though. Copyright is messy, which is why I'm still skeptical about getting a new Jason movie despite the recently announced Victor Miller decision. Jessica retrieves the dagger, then runs up on Jason and sticks it in his chest. Little soul fireworks start popping off, but Jessica needs to drive the point home. Go! That final kick does the trick, and I don't know, all this shit starts happening, man. What are those big old hell hands? They look like some kind of Jim Henson creation. I guess originally this ending was gonna be done with miniatures, but I think they ended up running out of money. I'll count Jason Voorhees as dead for a second time in this film, as the hands pull him underground. It's only forever, not long at all. Jessica and Steven kiss, their heads turn into the sun, and no one can blame them for walking away, holding their sweet little baby. Jason's mask is left behind until it too is dragged to hell.
by Freddy Krueger, motherfuckers! They in the same studio now!
And with Kane Hodder playing Freddy's gloved hand there, that makes him the only person to technically play both characters in a film.
How many kills did Jason pack before he left for his trip to hell? Let's find out and get to the... This time I counted 23 kills in Jason Goes to Hell, one fewer than last time because I guess Creighton Duke survived. The victims were 7 women and 16 men, a more than 2-to-1 ratio of dudes, and with a runtime of 88 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 3.83 minutes.
I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Deputy Josh since I'm using the theatrical cut here. Love the dissolution of his body into the ground. These Cronenberg effects are super random in a Friday film, but I can't not be impressed by them. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to the diner patron, who we saw all of a sudden dead in Officer Randy's POV shot.
And that's it. Jason Goes to Hell: The Final Friday came out in 1993 and was actually the final Friday when I first got into horror movies. I made my dad take my friends and I to the theater to see Jason X when it came out. I'll look at that next week, but until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
Growing up can be a real drag.
You live with your fucking parents, babe.
You have to pay bills, stay at work late, and make your bedroom look more adult. But there's one thing you'll never grow out of: the love you have for a special stuffed friend. Benny Loves You is a movie about the beautiful friendship between a man and his bear.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's a bear. I know it looks like a dog.
I love dogs.
Or a rabbit, but it's a bear. A ferocious bear who will maim and murder to protect its owner.
All you want to do is cuddle me and kill everyone else. What the fuck is your problem?
If this movie looks like it was independently made, that's because it was.
Cheap.
One man, Carl Holt, did literally everything.
What?
From writing to directing to editing to scoring to designing Benny to doing all the visual effects.
Complete loser.
Loner.
Yes, yeah, of course, sorry.
Oh yeah, he also stars in it too.
Are you insane?
And the most amazing thing is that the movie's not bad. This weekend, watch a film born out of a man's midlife crisis. And this Sunday, in just 2 days, watch The Kill Count on Dead Meat.
Benny Loves You can currently be watched on the pictured streaming platforms. Dead Meat always recommends you watch the movie for yourself before its kill count. It's the only way to have your own properly informed opinion. Kill counts are never meant to replace the experience of watching a film.
Thanks a lot for watching this week's Kill Count. I want to thank some patrons like Noor Al-Mutadi, Richard Curtis, Benny Holst, Evan Podell, Ethan A. Phillips, and Kyle Smith. It's October, officially spooky season. It's when all the people who don't normally watch horror movies come and watch some horror movies. Don't be gatekeepers to those people. Welcome them in. We're a fun-loving family here. I mean that. Be good people.